Good evening and welcome to the May 13th, 2020 meeting of the North Andover Conservation Commission. Before we begin, we'd like to provide an overview to explain tonight's meeting's format. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12th, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the Open Meeting Law, MGL Chapter 30A, Section 18, and the Governor's March 15th, 2020 order imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place, this meeting and public hearings of the North Andover Conservation Commission is being conducted via remote conference call participation. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort has been made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings as provided in the governor's order. A reminder that persons who would like to listen to this meeting while in progress may do so by watching on their television on North Andover Cam or by visiting their website at www.northandovercam.org. With respect to hearings, the public hearings, which there are two this evening, members of the public listening to this meeting virtually are welcome to make comments if they wish to do so during the portion of the hearing designated for public comment by emailing the Conservation Administrator, Amy Maxner, that's me, at amaxner@northandoverma.gov, which is displayed on the North Andover Cam screen on your TV. Your emailed comments will be read aloud during the hearing for consideration and any response as appropriate. Please remember to provide your name and address for the record. So thanks, I just have to do that every time. So now I think what we'll do is we'll take a roll call of attendance and we'll go through staff, the Conservation Commission, and whoever else is joining us this evening. And once you do announce yourself, could you just please remember to mute your microphone because it helps with sound quality. So okay. I'm Amy Maxner. I am the Conservation Administrator.
Okay, Amy, this is Lou Napoli, the chairman. I'll introduce the guys and lady on the commission so that we do the questions. They'll know by answer. I'd like to start off with Jack Maben.
Present.
Okay, followed by Joe Lynch. There, Joe?
Might need to unmute yourself, Joe.
Okay. We'll just continue. Followed by Vice Chair. Yeah, Joe, you there?
Amy, you there? Amy, is this working?
Yes, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Yep.
The remote microphone and headphones are not working, so I'm not going to be able to mute. I'm afraid. So
okay,
I'm sorry.
right,
I am here.
That's okay. That's all right. As long as most of us are.
Okay. Followed by, all right, so we have Joe Lynch. We have Vice Chairman Al Manzi.
I'm present.
Chairman Lou Napoli. I'm here. Commissioner Deb Falkovich.
Present.
And followed by Sean McDonough.
Present.
All right, that's the commission. It's all yours, Amy.
Okay, thank you. And I guess perhaps what we'll do is go through the agenda items, and for whoever the applicants present for that item can announce themselves when we get to that. I guess that's probably a good way to do it. But first, I need the commission to take a vote to authorize me as your conservation administrator to sign decisions and permits and forms on your behalf. We didn't take that vote at the last meeting because we wanted to make sure that we checked in with town council and she was well aware of what the vote was and that it was in conjunction with whatever the other boards and commissions are doing in the town. When we received her response, she made it clear that all other boards and commissions do their signatures differently, and so I think it's one size doesn't fit all in this case. And she thought that the authorization for me to sign on your behalf was the cleanest way for the commission, because by statute, you guys have to sign all of your decisions, whereas, say, the planning board can delegate staff as their usual MO. So with that, do you guys have any questions? And
I do. I continue to have the same question. I believe that vote has to take place with each decision we're about to render, and not globally at the beginning of the meeting. So as we take the vote, we should also take a second vote to authorize the affixing of our signatures. So I think we have to do that on a case-by-case, line-by-line basis on the agenda.
okay,
Yep. All right, so then all those in favor of Amy signing us for her letter, say aye.
Aye.
well,
Aye.
do you,
Aye.
do you
No.
want me, but,
Opposed?
okay. Do you want me to read off the motion though, and then as you guys, see, I need to record this motion with the registry of deeds. So we need your initial vote to record. And then as you guys make decisions and vote on orders of conditions and such, then you guys can also take votes to authorize me to sign.
All right, well,
Okay,
okay, we can do it that way. It doesn't matter. We were just approving the letter that you just read to us. And then as we approve the decision, it will automatically refer to the letter that you just read to us, that you're authorized to do our signature.
right. So,
So
Just
it's
for
kind of redundant.
well, let me just read it and then you guys can vote on it and I'll feel better.
Okay?
Okay, thanks. All right. Move that the North Andover Conservation Commission authorize Conservation Administrator Amy Maxner to physically sign on behalf of the commission, when so directed by vote of the commission, documents issued by the commission under the Wetlands Protection Act, MGL Chapter 131, Section 40, or the North Andover Wetlands Protection Bylaw, Chapter 190 of the North Andover Bylaws, including but not limited to orders of conditions, certificates of compliance, extensions, ORADs, et cetera, et cetera.
What's that? What,
So
you want
I
to vote?
have the same issue I raised in the last meeting. I believe that says that we can do it in two steps. We can authorize you now to globally do that, but on each motion that would require us to sign something, we would need to include in the motion that you are authorizing all voters to sign on our behalf. There may be some who decide not to affix their signature. And so I think the global one is a kind of feel-good thing, but I think each individual motion needs to specifically authorize you to sign our signatures.
Yeah,
And that's what town council said in their letter 2 weeks ago.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Joe,
and I
heard that
Joe, for the record, I agree with Joe completely on that.
Yeah, that's,
And folks, this is Sean. I did hear that language in there.
Yeah, when so
Yeah,
directed by vote of the commission.
Right.
right, so we'll vote twice, to accept
Yes.
the decision, and then to accept your power to sign for us.
Okay,
All right, so we'll do it twice. All right, so everybody that's in favor of that, let us say aye.
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 Opposed? And that's unanimous.
This is,
Okay, so,
this is Shauna. I oppose on one ground, and that's that Amy demanded to read it, and then she said et cetera about halfway through because she got tired.
I'm so-
well, my,
No,
my,
I'm just kidding, Amy. We're good. Go ahead.
Okay.
all right, well, my concern of her being authorized to sign for us is that she can go out and buy a brand new car and there's nothing we can do about
Oh, I see what you're saying.
it.
Oh, here's the love.
right.
Okay, I get it.
All right.
All right.
So first order of business, Amy.
Okay. All right. So we have Eagle Scouts with us tonight for their projects to gain that badge. The first one is a bat box project at James Swamp. And I'm going to hand over to Niels Restrepo. Neil, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay, great. So go ahead and give us a rundown on the project.
I'm Niels Restrepo, and I'm making a bat box for the Friends of North Andover Trail. I'm Troop 82, and I'm trying to get money for my project. I need cedar planks. It's a quite big bat box that can seat many bats. I'm building 4 different areas, putting them in 4 different areas. Cedar. I need cedar planks, which is 1 by 6 by 8 feet. In total, cost $22. I need a 4 by 4 post, which is 12 feet high, which lets the bat have a chance to fly. $50 in general. 4 by 8 by 3/4 inch plywood, which is used for the backing, which is $31. And we have plastic mesh, gutter guard, and screws. And they equal $28. So in total, it's $150 for all of my bat boxes, and I will place them in James Swamp, and in 2 different corners to get 8 hours of sunlight.
Okay. Any questions, Jack?
I'm having a little trouble getting through the understanding the proposal. I understand you've got 4 of them, 4 bat boxes. Is that correctly? Is that
Yeah,
correct?
4 bat boxes, and they're placed in 2 different posts, which will be put together. They can each get 8 hours of sunlight to provide warmth for the bats.
So, I guess what I was going to ask was where in the reservation will they be placed?
They're right behind the bridge, which is going to be placed 1, and then the other side of the field that is open will be another one.
Okay. And just to verify, they will be placed on posts, not on trees?
No, they will not, because predators can get inside and
Correct.
it'd be better.
Okay. What's your timeline on this?
I believe that we can finish this by the end of summer of 2020 if quarantine is lifted, and that is the only variable I have so far.
Great. Sounds like a great project. I have no more questions, Lou.
Thank you. Joe?
Hi, how you doing? I'm kind of curious. How is the Boy Scouts of America handling the coronavirus? Are they extending 18-year-old deadlines? And how does that affect your age? What challenges would you face in doing this?
We're trying to do all of our business through Zoom calls and group meetings through the internet. We have no physical contact because of the coronavirus, and it's given me a longer time to consider all of my options for that. Yeah.
I'm losing a lot of the communication through feedback, I believe. Is everybody else muted?
I did.
Niels, you might want to maybe turn down your volume on your computer, maybe?
Sorry.
That's okay.
Is this better?
Mm,
So Neil, I'm an Eagle Scout. Two of my boys are Eagle Scouts. I was the former district advancement coordinator, which included all Eagle Scouts. I'm just sort of interested in learning what it is you've learned given this crisis that you're facing. How are you facing coronavirus? I know you're talking social distancing, but how's it affecting your age, your timeline, those sorts of things? If you could tell me that.
Yes, I was planning on finishing the project in around a month from now. But I believe because of quarantine, it will be extended by the time till quarantine is ended, plus a month, because it needs to. We will build boxes beforehand. It's just the setting up, which we need to have the entire group there, so I can. So it helps me set up all the bat boxes. And that's a big problem that I've been facing because I expected to be able to have many volunteer hours with my troop, and that they could help me with the project, but I have to wait a little bit longer. And I believe that is a big problem making getting this project done.
Excellent. So you've learned to adjust to this, like all of us have.
Yeah.
And so my question from the conservation perspective is that the work you're doing, physical work in the resource area, is really just driving, 4 posts into the ground. Everything else will be pre-assembled, and the disturbance will be minimal. Correct?
Yeah. There's gonna be no cutting, no dangerous activities. Only digging and planting 2 posts into the ground with cement. And that is the only, I will be setting them all up inside my house, but if quarantine is over in that time frame that I'm going to set them up, which I'm pretty sure is not, I can still invite, I'll send the invitation if quarantine is lifted for them to help me put together my box, put the boxes.
Excellent. And the last question I have is, in learning, about how bat habitats work, what sort of maintenance do these need? Do they, once you erect them and they use them, do they need to be cleaned periodically, or they just use them at free will?
Never cleaned. It just has to be recoated every 2 years to help with rain resistance and all of the wear and tear in general. So you always have to recoat every 2 years.
Excellent. Neil, it sounds like you really thought this project through. Very, very good. Congratulations on persevering the adjustments. I know it's always a challenge to achieve Eagle, and every now and then, something unique is thrown at you, and nobody would ever expect this. So congratulations. Good work.
Thank you.
Al?
I'm here, and I have no questions. I just wanted to give my support for the project. I love bat boxes. I have several on my property, and I wholeheartedly endorse this project.
Thank you. Lou Napoli, Chairman, I've heard your project, and it sounds like very good, and you sound like you've planned it accordingly. Thank you. Deb? Deb, are you there?
Deb, you muted?
Jeb, unmute yourself.
I tap her maybe, but I can't get near her. I'll do Sean. We'll do Sean. Maybe Deb will wake up.
I'll do Deb. All right. On behalf of Deb, I agree with Al.
That was good. I like that.
No, listen. It sounds like a great project, and as Joe and Al mentioned, it sounds like he's really on top of it. I have no questions, and good luck with the project.
Okay, Deb, you there yet? All right. Well, we're going to continue without her. We need a motion for the friendly enforcement order.
This is Joe. I move that we approve an enforcement order ordering Mr. Neal to complete the back box project as timely and as efficiently and safely as he can do.
And to sign, and to allow me to sign on your behalf.
And to sign on your behalf. Thank you.
All right, all those in
Second by
favor,
Jack.
Thank
all
you.
those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous, except we lost Deb somewhere.
Right. Okay, great. Thanks, Niels.
Thank you.
Good
luck.
job.
All right, we're ready for the next one.
All
Amy.
right, and the next one is another Eagle Scout project. It's a boardwalk project at Town Farm, and this is Nicholas Restrepo. So I'll give you the
Yes.
floor. Go ahead.
I'm Nicholas Restrepo, Neil's brother, also Troop 82. And my project is to build a boardwalk at Town Farm Trail on South Bradford Street. The project is around 600 yards into the trail from the baseball diamond. And it's going to be and there's a big puddle, making it really hard to walk through and hike for normal families and people. And so the project is going to be a boardwalk, which is 3 feet wide, 3 planks wide, and 60 feet long. And it'll take around 15 planks in total to build it, and around 8 sleepers, or the blocks to support the boardwalk. Yeah.
Thank you. So, Jack, any questions?
Yes, Nicholas, thank you for taking the time to improve, one of our town trails. And I did go through your proposal and your materials and map and all, and I didn't find one thing that I was expecting to find, and that was a sketch of the proposed boardwalk.
Yes.
You gave a location, you specified materials, and you just verbally described it, but usually we like to see a sketch of what the arrangement is.
Yes.
So can you answer that?
Yeah. So it's going to be so it's 3 planks wide, so 3 feet wide. They're all around 9 inches with a little space in between. And it's 60 feet long. Every plank is 2 by 10 by 16 feet long. And so it's going to be around 15 planks in total, and around 8 sleepers, which are the blocks that support the boardwalk over the puddle, so it doesn't collapse.
Yep.
And it'll have a little ramp at the beginning, so bikers, it won't be too high up, and we'll even it out the land to make it walkable for bikers and normal families hiking.
Okay, yeah, of course, this has been done in town in other locations, and this is fairly low impact to, our natural area out there. Although, that said, I think I would be more comfortable approving a project with a sketch, which is typically done.
Yes, I can have that right away.
So, so that anyway, that's my input, Lou.
Okay. Joe?
Hi, Nicholas. Joe Lynch here. So thank you for doing such a project. It's always a balance between not allowing people to enter wetland areas versus allowing them to go in and observe them and appreciate them better. So I think you're finding a project that's a good balance between the two. So thank you for doing that. And I agree with Jack that if you can give us a sketch, we can order that through our friendly order here to require that you submit such a sketch. I'm sure you would have to do that for your voter review anyway. So
yes.
What are you finding, given the current situation, as a challenge to getting your Eagle Scout? What sort of impacts are you seeing? Obviously, it's difficult to face-to-face coordinate and do things together, but what do you tell me what you're seeing?
It's also, the social distancing is the main thing, as this project would normally be done with around 5-6 kids minimum, as it takes a lot of heavy lifting, bringing all the planks in and gathering the materials, digging the holes, setting it all up. And as we can't have those 5, 6 people, it makes it really hard. And so it's going to take a while whenever the lockdowns are lifted. And the materials itself too, as there's not as much, some stores are closed, not everything is open. It makes the transportation a little more like that, getting the materials a little more difficult.
There's been several people who've been involved in Eagle Scout projects over the past several generations who haven't faced these challenges. And I'm gonna advocate to BSA that this year's Eagle Scout class be awarded Eagle Scout C19 awards to really designate the uniqueness that you guys are going through. And I really appreciate that. So thank you.
And then I just had one question about the boardwalk. I went yesterday with Mr. Jones from the Friends of North Andover Trails, and he mentioned that it's up to the committee that sometimes they like that the boardwalk is not in the middle, but more off to the side. So if trucks needed to get through, or if trucks are like or trailers needed to get through.
Okay, thank you. Al?
I am here, and I have no questions. I think it sounds like a great project.
Lou Napoli, Chairman. I'm very familiar with the area. When Al and I were younger, it was known as Purgatory Lane.
Louis, just so you know, it is still known as Purgatory Lane on map Assessors Map 104D. It is still described as Purgatory Lane. It's an ancient way, and it's listed as an ancient way, and that's been the name, I'm told, for more than 175 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's really nice information. It sounds like a very good project, and good luck to you.
But just the one question I had, if it should be like in the middle or the side, as Mr. Jones said, it could be a problem.
Did we find
Joe again?
Did we find Deb?
Yeah, I'm stepping back on that last follow-up question. I think the actual physical placement ought to be offering minimal disturbance and the greatest opportunity to do other things adjacent to it. So, flexibility of where it ultimately lies, that should be allowed, but also as long as you call and ask permission before doing it, okay?
Okay, all right, thank you very much.
And this is Sean. I'll give you my thoughts on that when it comes around to me as well. I'm really familiar with that area.
Is Deb back?
I am back. You kicked me out because there were too many people on the call. Because I was on the beginning. Okay, great project. I think it's wonderful. And I just want to comment, because I couldn't before, on the prior project, wanted to know if the bats carried any of the COVID viruses in them.
No. I don't know. I believe only. I don't have any idea.
Okay.
I think we should ask Anthony Fauci about that one.
Okay, I'm just kidding, and I'm just kidding because this whole thing with the bats and everything with the COVID. But no, I think it's a great project, and good luck with it. And what is the estimated completion date?
For the bat box?
No, for the boardwalk.
Oh, it's around the same time until the lockdowns are lifted, because you need the manpower of around a couple people. They're just
Okay.
hopefully in the summer when the lockdowns restrictions are lifted.
So are you guys going to work as a team then for the project?
Yes, we're going to help each other out, but it's our own separate projects with our own applications, but we will help each other out.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot.
Hey, Deb, this is Joe again.
Yes,
Hey,
Joe.
when you talk to Dr. Fauci, you want to look at the balance between bats that eat mosquitoes that curtail triple E in West Nile versus the onslaught of COVID. I think the curtailing of triple E in West Nile is much more beneficial. So I think regardless of it, you know, potential for bats to carry the virus for COVID is outweighed by the other benefits.
Okay. Well, what about malaria?
Well, there are other cures for that, Deb.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get malaria in this hemisphere, but good question.
Okay, Sean.
Well, I don't know what to say. I don't know how to follow that up. So about that area. So I know that area because it's very close to my house, and we walk it very often. And it gets really wet in that area you're talking about. I don't think that's used as a fire road or anything. So, you know, I don't know if there's a need to put it on one side versus the other side versus, you know, where it's going to make sense to put it. So I don't think you have, other than practical purposes on site, I don't think you're prohibited from not putting it in, you know, in the width of that trail. And in general, yeah, I mean, that area is wet all the time. I don't think it's a wetland in that area, but it's certainly got wetland on the downhill side of it. But it just gets saturated because everything comes off the hill where the water tank is, and it'd be great to not get my socks wet as I go through there. So thank you for your project.
Yeah,
Lou, if I could add to Sean's comments, this is Jack. You know, the laws, the rules for the trails in town, and I believe it includes this one also. They exclude motorized vehicles on these trails. So the only access we're talking about is emergency access, and I don't see. I would agree with Sean. I don't see a reason to place it in any way to accommodate motorized vehicles. You know, because if emergency access is needed, they'll do what they need to do to get where they need to go. But you know, in general, the rules require that motorized vehicles are prohibited from those trails.
Okay. Yeah. Just for a point of order, years ago, like I said, I haven't been down there in a long time, but at one time, Al, you probably can reinforce this. I believe it was used as a fire lane, but everything's changed. I mean, they put a subdivision there, so I don't know what it is now.
I did research on these when I was for a piece of my own property that Sean was talking about earlier. I did some research and I found that all these old roads, Purgatory Lane, South Bradford Street, there's a whole bunch of them in there that vary. They're all listed as ancient ways. They were once upon a time paper roads, actual roads for the town. Then they became paper roads, and the town has never abandoned them at any meeting of town meetings. So they're technically still town paper access roads. I did the research to find out if there had been any abandonment at town meeting, and there has been none. So conceivably, the town could open them at any time if they so desired. I doubt that they would ever have that inclination, but that's the only possibility going forward.
Yeah, Al, this is Joe. You harkened me back to 1978 when I was working in Andover as a college intern, and we literally abandoned all of the ancient ways for a purpose. And North Andover has never done it. And the problem isn't what the town wants to do; it's what a property owner who has rights to it might want to do. You like Mollytown, if you remember, not too many years ago. Mollytown was an ancient way, and they used that right away to bring that subdivision in. It can happen anywhere until it's totally abandoned.
No, you're exactly right, and I did that research for some of my own property, and that was the answer that I got as well. So it was worth the time to get that opinion. But you're right on. I got a letter from the town manager, not the town manager, town clerk, that there's been no act taken in this town. So down the road, there's always that potential.
Very good.
So what are you saying? We should allow him to put the boardwalk where he wants to, or we should just put it off to the side? What is your inclination?
Put it where he wants to, wherever his design shows the most the best use is what we should permit, in my opinion. That boardwalk's not going to be in the way if the road ever decides to get opened up. That'll be the least of the problems.
Okay.
I agree with
I
that.
agree with Al as well.
Okay. All right, so we need a motion for the friendly enforcement order.
To include a sketch and to authorize me to sign on your behalf as well.
So moved.
This is Joe. I so move it.
Okay?
Second. By Deb.
Okay. All right, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? And that's unanimous.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Nicholas.
Good
Good
luck,
luck.
Nicholas.
All righty. So the next Eagle Scout project is Kyle Babb, and he's doing a post-split rail fence at Rolling Ridge. So I'll hand it over to you, Kyle.
Hello. Can everyone hear me well?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So my Eagle project plan is to be building a 140-foot split rail fence going along the non-public access line between where the new trail is being built between Rolling Ridge and the North Andover Country Club. And the point of the fence is to keep pedestrians and foot traffic out of Rolling Ridge's private land and focused on the trail. And right now I'm just looking to get it passed. The problem though is the fence technically is on wetland territory. So I need to make sure that's gone signed off. So I just need your signatures here to continue with constructing the fence.
Okay. Jack, questions?
Yeah. When we consider the approvability of projects like this, a key piece of information we're looking for is how far is the closest point of the project to the wetland. So would you have that information?
Yeah, I can pull it up on a map right now. 70 feet. It's around 80 feet. It's up the hill and across the road from the wetland zone.
I can confirm that.
Can you confirm what flag it is? What wetland flag that would be?
Yeah, let me look it up. I have to give me a minute.
It is the blue flag line.
Yep.
So no, the distance from the blue flag line to the wetland flags that are called out. I'm looking at like 19A, 20A, 21A.
Yep, and 58.
I was just wondering if we had a distance call out somewhere.
19A. I measured it from 19A. Yep.
And that's 80 feet?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Definitely out of the no build zone.
Definitely. Okay.
Yep.
That's a favorable measurement in my opinion, and I have no more questions, Lou.
Okay, thank you, Jack. Joe? You there, Joe?
I'm sorry, I was muted again. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
Hi, Kyle. Thank you for taking this project on. My question is pretty much along the same lines that Jack just had with the physical separation, but Amy, the question is more towards you in our vision for that property. I know there's a lot of stuff going on out at Rolling Ridge with the driveway, the parking lot, the community garden, and whatnot. Does all this fit within a general master plan of what is envisioned out there?
Well, I think the fence is more what the Rolling Ridge Institution would like to have just to separate public from non-public delineation. So I don't think it's necessarily something that the town, asked for, but I think it's just something to keep people from wandering up into the Rolling Ridge property.
Yeah, I'm having trouble with, I don't have any drawings on this, so I'm having trouble envisioning it. So we have the garden, I'm gonna say kind of centralized. We have that other driveway and parking area below the garden, correct?
Right, yes.
This fence is above the garden?
It is along
Or is
the
it between the
side.
two?
It's between the two. Yeah.
It's
So-
between the two, okay.
Yep.
So is the separation between those two, that's something that's in the goals and in the vision of what we want to do to use our public access, the public parking area, and not hinder the use of the private property in the garden area, correct?
Exactly.
Okay, and Kyle, are you aware of what I was just talking about and why that position is so important?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so the reason why I asked that is, looking at beyond what's in your own eyes, what you want to do today, part of an Eagle Scout is envisioning what you do in the future and what the impact might be in the future. So as long as you made those kind of considerations and don't, cut off access or otherwise preclude the ability for us to use our piece that we have rights to or their use of their land as they want, that's very important. The physical work, same question I asked the other two Eagle Scout candidates. Are you finding challenges with the current environment? Your age, are you approaching 18? And are you finding the ability to get it done on time is becoming a compromise?
COVID's definitely screwing with me a little bit because I am 17 now, so I have had to apply to the Boy Scouts of America for an extension on my project due to COVID because I need to dig many fence posts, and if COVID goes too late into the winter when the ground freezes, I won't be able to do that. So I've just preemptively asked for an extension on my project. But if this gets cleared up, I shouldn't take too long to construct this at all. So I'm really just waiting on the social distancing to stop to proceed.
So I'm pleased to hear, one of the lessons you ought to learn in this Eagle Scout project is, contingency planning, and you're looking to even next winter as being a potential impact and planning around that. So very, very good for you. I appreciate that. And I have no other questions.
Thank you.
Okay. Al?
Thank you. I already asked the only question I had, so I'm all set. Thank you.
Okay. I just have one question, and it's toward Amy. Amy, is this under watershed with planning? Do you have to be involved in this?
That's a good question. I failed to think about that. I will absolutely refer Kyle to the staff planner to vet that through the planning board.
Okay, thank you. Deb?
Yeah, Lou, it is in the watershed, and I think that was an excellent question. I have no other comments, but I think that the project is really good. Good luck.
Thank you. Sean?
I don't have any questions, and I agree. Project looks great, and best of luck with it.
Okay. I need a motion?
I move, this is an enforcement order, friendly enforcement order?
Right.
Yep.
I move that we issue a friendly enforcement order to allow the project to move forward and that the final location of the fence be verified prior to digging the posts. And I wish the candidate good luck.
And to authorize me to sign on.
And to allow Amy to sign on our behalf.
Second by Deb.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed, that's unanimous.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you so much,
Carl.
guys.
Okay.
Okay, next one, Amy.
All righty. We have, it's NACC Small Project Permit number 93. It's a renewal for the license to allow for the Giving Garden to operate within the conservation restriction area on Rolling Ridge.
Okay. Jack, any questions?
I'm not sure where where the Giving Garden is and where the washing station is proposed.
Okay, so the it's, you take the main entrance roadway, not the old southern access drive. And as you go down that drive, it's the garden's on the left, sort of in the middle of the big sweeping field that goes down the hill to the main parking lot.
Okay, got it. Where's the vegetable washing station proposed?
So what I think I'll do is I'll hand that over to James Goodman. He's the Eagle Scout who's actually going to construct the wash station. So James, if you're with us.
Yeah, it's really a matter of knowing what they're asking us to approve.
Right.
And I can see the details of the structure and the function of the washing station, and that all looks very logical to me. It's just that as we consider our wetland considerations, we need to know these additional details.
This is James Goodman.
Welcome, James.
Explain where it's so the washing station would be inside of the Giving Garden like fence gate, and it would be near one of the main entrances near the shed next to the water pump.
And that's all.
Are you familiar with how that is in relation to the the wetlands in the area? I see some intermittent streams and all. Are you familiar with that, Amy?
Yeah, but let me look at the aerial and get a better sense.
Yeah, I think we should probably see it on a map submitted to the commission.
Yep.
Just like they had on the town farm. He even put a pretty informal notation where the boardwalk would go. I think we're looking for something similar to that.
Okay.
Excuse me, this is Emily Strong. I'm one of the gardeners at the Giving Garden. Can you hear me?
Yes, thanks, Emily.
Okay. On the report, the renewal report that we submitted, it included a map notating where the proposed washing station would go. Do you have access to that report?
Yes, I did forward that to everyone.
Okay, I saw maybe I didn't go deep enough. I didn't see that. Was it in the folder, Amy?
It should be.
Come up next.
And I believe I emailed it to you too.
Nope, didn't get it. Nope.
Packing platform, roof. Is it on that document that shows the details of the washing station? No, it isn't.
No, it would be in a separate document. It was called the Soil Conservation Plan.
Okay.
And it is, I think, on the last page here. see, I think it's page 6 at the very end of the report. It's a satellite picture that has the extent of the garden, our shed, our fruit trees, and the location of the proposed washing station.
Are you seeing that, Amy? Because I'm having a little bit of trouble with the document.
Let me open it up.
Hey, Jack, this is Joe.
Yep.
I don't think we got that second piece. The last piece of the aerial photo of where it is on the ground. I have all the documents too, and I don't see that.
So it's page 8 of the soil conservation report. And I just actually emailed it to everybody right now.
Okay.
And it's the last page, and it's a blue outline inside the footprint of the garden.
I don't have it either, Amy.
Sorry.
But you just sent it, right, Amy?
I just sent it again.
I'll try to open it up.
All right.
Okay.
Yep. I just got it.
Okay.
Jack, do you see that?
Yes, I do. I got it. I just got it now.
Sorry about that.
Okay. Yeah. I'm all set. I don't have any questions. I don't have any more questions, Lou.
Okay, Joe?
Now, you guys there now?
Yep.
Yeah, I was literally fumbling between like 15 different open windows. Sorry about that. Is it James or Jim?
James.
James, how you doing? So again, thank you very much for taking on such a project. I think this is one of the more ambitious ones, and I think it's an interesting perspective of meeting the needs. Just like your prior colleague, Eagle Scout colleague, who was looking to put a fence in, it's like understanding how all things go together. So it sounds like you're working with the community guidance people and Amy with finding the proper placement of that, right?
Yes.
So when you selected your location, it was based on a combination of, the need versus where it would fit with the garden folks and where it might fit with regards to conservation. Did you kind of blend all those concerns together?
Yes.
Yeah. James, you're breaking up.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So, so in citing it where you did you find yourself in a challenge to stay as far away from the wetland resource area as possible? And when I ask that question, do you know what that even means?
I worked with the Giving Garden to pick out the area which they wanted it to be.
And the closest part of where you're citing it, how far is it away from what you believe to be the wetland resource area?
I do not know.
Did you, James, did you ask Amy? Did you have any input from Amy in agreeing with that location being appropriate?
Not with Amy.
Not with Amy, I don't think.
Okay, Amy, is there an issue with where the location is proposed? Do you know?
Not at all. I believe that it would be out just outside the buffer to the wetland that's alongside of the main driveway. And I think it's well out of the buffer of any wetland to the west. So I think it's a high and dry area, and it's within, like I said, within the footprint of active gardening area inside the fence.
and separated by the driveway to the resource area as well, right?
Oh, yes, on the other side of the driveway, yes.
The
So
other
there-
side, where the parking area is proposed, right?
Yeah, it's well separated from very well vegetated area from that.
Okay, so it sounds like, the candidate has worked carefully to understand, minimizing the impact to the resource area along with giving the greatest benefit to the ultimate use. So do you think we'd have any exception to approving that location?
No, I don't.
Excellent. James,
Yeah.
I've asked all the other Eagle Scout candidates the same question. I'm going to ask you the same. So given the current COVID situation and perhaps your age restrictions, are you finding any unique challenges to get this project done?
It's been a challenge to figure out planning and meeting up with the Given Guarding to work out what they want and needs for the washing station. And it's going to be a challenge to get the amount of participants during this time to be able to help me build the washing station.
Are you facing an age restriction or a timetable that's going to be a unique challenge to get it done?
No.
So you're young enough to get it done before, pushing an 18-year-old deadline.
Yes, I am 14 years old.
Oh my God, you are the. Hey Jack, sounds like Coli, doesn't it?
That's pretty impressive.
That's an aggressive eagle. I was a 14-year eagle 40 years ago. So good for you. Appreciate it. Good work for you. Even if this gives you a little obstacle, you can be able to get it done soon enough. Good for you. Thank you. No more questions.
Okay, Al?
I have no questions. I like the project.
Okay. Yeah, sounds like a good project to me, but also, Amy, again, is that considered watershed or?
Yes.
Okay, so you'll have to send that to planning also, which I don't see will be a problem.
Right.
All right, Deb?
Great project and good luck.
Sean?
Good luck with the project. I don't have any questions.
All right, need a motion?
Hey, Amy, this is Joe. Before I make the motion, is this coming in as an enforcement order, as a request to amend the current license by which they operate the garden?
Actually, it's probably a request to amend the existing license to allow for a wash station. More accurate.
So move.
Okay.
So move and authorize Amy to vote to sign our signatures on our behalf.
Second by
Jack.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? And that's unanimous on both.
Can I just ask you to do one more vote? To
Sure.
Sure.
to renew the license for another year?
Yeah.
So move.
All those in
So
favor,
move.
all right, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? And that's unanimous, Amy.
Great, thank you very much.
Okay.
Thanks,
Thank
James.
you.
And thanks, Emily.
Good luck, James.
Thank you,
Thank
James.
Lou, could we go back on the agenda? We didn't move to accept the meeting minutes of April the 22nd.
I didn't get those to you yet.
Oh, okay, because I reviewed them.
Yeah, I know, we dropped the ball on that one.
Okay.
All right, so all those in favor of accepting the minutes, say aye.
We don't have them yet.
Table it.
We don't have them, Lou.
Oh, we don't
I
have
recommend
that?
doing tables.
Sorry about that.
Next time.
Okay.
I can't.
Okay, Amy, it's all yours.
Alrighty, so next up is we have a new notice of intent for 221 Blue Ridge Road. It is for a backyard hardscape landscape project that involves replacing an existing timber landscape wall. I can't really call it a retaining wall, but it's a landscape wall that frames a corner of the yard. And right now there's pea stone in it, and they would like to replace it with a block wall and remove stairs and shift stairs or steps, granite steps, closer to the house, leading to the rest of the yard. They want to, that existing retaining wall is partially in the 50-foot no-build zone. And they want to do a patio at the back of the house, which is out of the 50, and do a bunch of landscaping, natives. I'm just
It's all out of the 50.
Yeah,
So
excited.
25.
It's all out of the 25, and the 25 is natural wooded area, so it's totally naturalized and undisturbed.
Okay.
And
just for, okay, good.
go ahead. Well, I know that James Moran of Moran Cameron Group is with us on the call. So, but
Okay, I just want to give the commission some background. The wall that Amy's explaining is more of a decorative wall on the top of a hill. So it's in the 50, which we allow, but I'm just letting you know it has no impacts to wetlands from what we've talked about. So with that, I'll leave it over to Jack.
Okay, James Moran, you must be John Moran's brother.
Good evening. It's John Moran from the Moran Cameron Group. How you guys doing?
Good.
Did I call you?
Good to have you here, John.
You called him James, but his name is John.
Apologies for that.
Yeah.
You got the first letter right.
But he's still
Amy, you did a great job. You did a great
Yeah.
job explaining the project. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions, but as Amy pointed out, there's an existing timber wall that is in one corner, like the southwesterly corner of the property, and a portion of that is in the 50-foot no-build. Closest point is 43 feet to the wetlands, and as you know, under your regulations, walls are allowed within the 50-foot no-build if you prove that. Why do you need to be there? And the topography on the downhill side of the wall, as Amy had pointed out, the 25-foot no disturb is completely vegetated and natural. And the slope below the wall, it starts grading off at a pretty good slope, so it's really not usable. And it's not a usable yard right now. So moving the wall up to the 50-foot would end up eliminating about 7 feet of usable backyard that they currently have. So we're proposing to leave the wall where it is. And again, the new wall won't be any closer to the wetlands than the existing wall, which closest point is 43 feet. And in actuality, by replacing the existing wall, we're now going to have a nice straight section of wall along the back side of the property. So in some locations, we will be slightly further from the wetlands than the existing wall within the 50-foot. And the proposed patio, the proposed fire pit, all of that is outside the 50-foot no-build zone. And as Amy had pointed out, there's several large, extensive landscape areas with natural plantings that'll be going in that are currently just lawn. So the project should have no impact on the resource areas. We did submit a waiver request for the work in the 50-foot no build, even though technically the wall is allowed if the commission allows it. but we did submit the waiver request anyway. And I'd be more than happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, John. Thank you, John. Jack?
Last thing I will point out is there's a set of timber stairs that come down from that elevated yard that's actually within the 50-foot no-build zone. The new stairs, which will be granite stairs coming down from the elevated yard, we actually moved those out of the no-build. So we will have actually less wall in the no-build zone, wall and stairs, than what currently exists.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you. Jack, any questions?
Yes, John, that, it looks like you've got two different colors in your rendering for the timber wall and then the wall that contains the stairs. Is one block and the other timber?
What it is if you looked at, we've got some call outs on the plan. I know there's a lot of lines on this plan, and that's actually why we did it at a 10 scale, so it could be easily visible. And even at 10 scale, it's a little difficult. But the shaded dark wall, which kind of runs along the entire back, is a block keystone wall. The other walls are a natural stone retaining wall. So we're not doing any wood again. All the wood's being removed, and we'll have a natural stone wall and then a block wall.
Okay. And the stairs are moved up toward the off the new patio that's proposed.
Correct. Exactly.
Could you point out where the natural planting area is going to be that you referred to earlier?
So if you look if you're looking at the plan, upslope of wetland flag A3, just as you get inside the existing fence, you'll see like dotted areas. Everywhere where you see dots is a vegetated landscape bed. Okay. So you'll see upslope of wetland flags A3, which is just down gradient of the existing driveway. There's a landscape bed there. There's another landscape bed right up against the dwelling, upslope of wetland flags like A4, A5. And then upslope of wetland flag A8 all the way up against the dwelling. There's a landscape bed between the existing house and the new proposed retaining wall. And then all the way to the southwest or upslope of wetland flag A9, you'll see a large landscape area that's kind of being tucked up into the side of the hill.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Okay. Looks pretty good. What's the material to be used for the patio?
The pavers.
Just straight hardscape pavers.
Yep.
Okay. Lou, I have no more questions.
Thank you, Jack. Joe?
Hi, James, or is it John? Actually, this is a great submission on a reuse of a prior hardscape in a yard, and it's in my opinion fully compliant. So, in fact, almost borderline RDA, but not quite. So I appreciate the effort you've taken. It looks like you're doing any work abandoning that stairway out beyond the 50-foot no disturb, or are you?
I think what you asked is, there's an existing timber stair just upslope of wetland flag A7 almost. Those timber stairs those are coming out.
So they're being abandoned, okay.
Yep, and there's a call out for it. It says existing timber stairs to be removed.
Yeah, I'm looking at this in very small scale, but I can see that now. Okay. I think it's a great project. And no other questions.
Al?
Yes, I'm here. Hi, James. How are you?
You're gonna be forever known as James.
I know. Thanks, Amy.
Sorry.
And we knew you when you were just a young John Moran, and
I know.
I think your very first submission ever as an engineer was in front of our commission, and we're so happy to see. Might have been. I don't know. I remember a very young lad. Anyway, to move it along, I have no objection, no questions, and no objection to your waiver. All set. Thank you.
Thank. Okay, I just have two questions. I don't have a plan in front of me. I just want to know is that you have a construction access and a stockpile access, stockpile designated on the plan.
Yeah, Amy actually brought up the construction access after we submitted the original plan. So we submitted a revised plan. Construction access is going to be on the easterly side, right down the existing driveway.
Okay.
So it'll come down the existing driveway into the backyard. We didn't anticipate a lot of stockpile, so I technically didn't show a stockpile area, but we have a huge backyard that's all lawn, and we've got erosion control going from one side of the property to the other on the back side of the existing fence. So we could pretty much put the stockpile area anywhere and it won't have an impact on the resource area. The yard is extremely flat, so you're not going to get a whole lot of runoff.
Okay. Just because to try and keep it all the same and uniform, if you would mind, not mind, putting a stockpile area designated on the plan. If you use it, fine. If you don't, that's fine. But I mean, it just is there so we know if we do run into, you have to bring stock, like you have to bring a dense grade for the underneath the subgrade for the patio, or the blocks for the wall. We know what everything's going to be instead of spreading it all over the yard. So if you could put that stuff on a plan, that would be very helpful.
All right, we can add that.
Thank you. No more questions, Deb?
No questions.
Sean?
No questions.
Okay. My other question is, do we have to vote on the waiver if he doesn't need one?
He's got a waiver request pending, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he said if he needs it, fine. If he don't, that's fine.
Well, I mean, it's 43 feet from flag A8. Does he need a waiver for that 43 feet?
Well, I think what Lou's bringing up is under your regulations, walls are allowed to be in the 50-foot no-build zone if the commission approves it. So, again, the reason I submitted the waiver request was just as a precaution. But if the commission feels that we don't need it, then I'm fine. If they want to vote on it, that's fine too.
Okay.
Well, yeah, the language in our regs say driveways, roadways, retaining walls, and landscape boulder walls may be allowed in the 50-foot no-build when there are no feasible location or alternative means of access.
So that's a waiver. So why don't we make it clean? I'll move that we approve the waiver.
Right.
Okay, we have a motion.
I second. Joe second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Wow, and that's the end of Sean voted affirmative on a waiver. Wow.
Hey, don't make me regret it.
Don't have.
Lou.
Existing conditions.
Lou, don't jinx us now. Don't do that. Don't call him out, okay?
I know that's the second one tonight that I can remember in 16 years.
Well, you may have just sealed our fate. He'll never do it again.
Yeah, next time we have a retaining wall that's 43 feet away and they replace it in kind in that same location, you'll hear me come back and approve it again.
Okay, attaboy, Sean. All right.
There, exactly.
All right, so now we need a motion for approval of the project.
Well, to close the hearing and issue an order of conditions.
So moved.
So,
Second.
Yeah, I second that motion.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous.
Great.
Thank you, James. Good night.
Good night, James.
James.
Thank you very much, guys. Have a good night.
Take care.
See ya.
Bye.
Okay, next one.
Okay, the next one is a new notice of intent filed by the town of North Andover DPW. It is for the Barker Street Culvert Replacement Project. And let's see, I'm going to pull up the plan so I know what I'm looking at. We have the project consulting engineer with us this evening. Ryan, if you want to just introduce yourself while I pull up the plan.
Sure. Yeah, good evening. I'm Ryan Paul with Environmental Partners. Also on the phone call or video is my colleague Sabrina Castaneda.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure if John or JC is on as well, but we'll be presenting either way. And we're representing the Department of Public Works, North Andover.
Great. So I'm not an engineer, so I'm just going to give you the layman's terms of what this is. So I'm sure you guys are aware that the existing culvert on Barker Street is collapsing, and the DPW did an emergency fix in November by actually putting a pipe inside it to keep flow moving along. But now we have starting to see failure of the roadway right now. So the previous conservation administrator, Jen Hughes, had consulted with John Borghese, and I'm assuming the project engineer as well, before she left on this project. And I sat down with them before they submitted, and Joe Lynch reviewed the draft plans as well. And I'm going to hand it over to you, Ryan, so you can give us a rundown.
Sure. Is it easier if I share my screen?
We don't, no, we can't.
No? Okay.
No, they'll pull it up
I'll just go through.
on their own computers.
No problem.
Thanks.
So, as you may know, as Amy said, it's a culvert on Barker Street. It's approximately 1,600 feet from the intersection with Osgood to the northeast. The location of the culvert it abuts a large wetland area that is typically flooded most of the time. And it discharges downstream to a farmland and gets it's streamed under Osgood, and it eventually makes its way to the Merrimack River. So as Amy was also saying, this culvert is in pretty bad shape. Right now, there's a 6-inch PVC pipe going through underneath the street that's keeping water flowing. Originally, it was a 24-inch corrugated metal pipe. What has happened is the end walls on the upstream side of the culvert are giving way due to poor soil conditions mostly. Some of this pipe is mostly intact, but on the upstream side, it's in really bad shape. Recently, the DPW was out there and they had another collapse where they lost some of the road, and right now they have some barriers out there protecting the upstream side of the culvert, which is the kind of the south side of the roadway. So the project is to replace this culvert with a new concrete box style culvert. That would be the box itself would be 4 feet by 4 feet, but in accordance with stream crossing standards, we are filling 2 feet of the bottom of that culvert, and there'll also be a head wall and wing walls on both sides. I'm going to, if you do have the plans open, I will refer you to sheet C1. We do show some existing pictures on the left on C1 and existing conditions plan. On the bottom is our erosion and dewatering plan. So we plan on putting erosion controls by way of filter sock around the site, and we plan on bypassing water via pump with a turbidity curtain upstream, with a temporary cofferdam also upstream to block flow. And downstream, we're going to put we'll dam up downstream just to finish up the block the dewatering. Although we don't expect any flow to come back at us, it does flow down once it discharges. Going on to C2, this is our main body of plan view of our new culvert. Basically, like I was saying, we're replacing this pretty much in kind. We're matching our inverts of the original corrugated 24-inch corrugated metal pipe, and we're keeping the road elevations the same. So this is some of our design is what we were working around. We did not want to change road elevations. We were working towards meeting the stream crossing standards while also looking at the flows downstream to make sure there weren't any adverse impacts downstream. And also making sure primarily also that the roadway was stabilized and, you know, good for the foreseeable future. The only modification we really made to the alignment of the culvert is we moved the upstream to a more perpendicular angle to the roadway. It's just a slight movement. You can see some of the grading that's shown on the on C2 on the restoration site plan. We do have to. We're just modifying slightly where the grades are, so they come directly into the culvert. We also have utilities that run through this site that most likely we know water will have to be adjusted. Gas will most likely have to be adjusted as well. The water will have to be replaced to go underneath this culvert, and the gas will most likely have to be replaced to go underneath this culvert. Other site features are a riprap bank to stabilize the roadway soils on the embankments, and a wetland replication area because we are disturbing wetland in the area where we're putting riprap down. That being said, we did get some comments back from DEP, and we're addressing those now. We had a call with Amy yesterday, and we're addressing a lot of those comments now. But some of the major comments, I guess, that I should speak to are moving the wetlands up from against the roadway, so they're behind the guardrail, and then moving some additional wetland to the north side of the roadway, to add as much as we can in there and keep it away from the road itself. So we'll make that. We're going to make that change. Also, the DPW has gotten feedback from abutters about beavers in the area. So the DPW, although not shown on the plans, we will modify this plan and show what we're probably going to do is a grate that consists of basically bars 6-inch on center that are on a hinge that go over the culvert for beaver dam protection. I think that covers most of the major features. I would like to open it up to questions from the commission at this time.
Thank you. Jack?
Yeah, sure, thanks. It sounds like it's a pretty straightforward project to me, but I know we've got some people with some very advanced knowledge that have some questions behind me.
Yes.
Yeah. The the changing of, you know, the wetland lines on either side, I'm glad DEP is addressing that because that is definitely a concern to me. The replication area, let's see, I'm just trying to catch up on it looks like the wetland line is the same and you're putting native planting, wetland replication plantings in there with conservation seed. Is that correct?
We're proposing a conservation seed mix for the replication area.
Okay. So yeah. Okay. You got the border of the road with the conservation seed mix. Okay. I'm going to leave it to my my brethren to ask some more questions on this. No more questions for me, Lou.
Okay, Joe?
Here we go. How you doing?
Great.
So before we get into any detail about seed mix and roadway restoration and whatnot, the DEP comments with regards to the requirement to meet street crossing standards is paramount. You have yet to demonstrate why this should not need to meet those standards. They need to meet these standards. I've been through this many times in my career, and this application seems to be very, very light in demonstrating why it should not need to meet these standards. Until you design the culvert, the rest of this conversation is moot. As currently designed, it does not meet stream crossing standards. It must, according to DEP, and I don't disagree. You need to tell me the hydraulic requirements of what's going to flow under this, how it is the full stream bank width fits the need, and how you're going to comply with those standards. And until you do that, the rest of this conversation is moot because you failed to meet them. Now that aside, once you do all of that, then I'm going to look at more detail about cofferdam and pumping versus bypass piping versus how is it going to actually do the work. But until you understand the full extent of what DEP requires under the street crossing standards, it makes no point in getting into that kind of detail. So right now I have no other questions other than to say this application is grossly insufficient.
Thank you, Joe.
Thanks.
Al?
Hi.
Can I just respond to
Mike,
No.
you want to respond to Joe?
if you wouldn't mind?
Okay.
In our stormwater report, we do address that we are meeting to the stream crossing standards to the maximum extent practical, and we say why we will address DEP's comments. The reasons why we can't meet them to the full extent is because it will require us to raise the road by 2 or 3 feet. The span would be 12 feet, and it would wash out. It would have adverse effects to the stream downstream.
Ryan, this is the culvert beneath Barker Road and the low end of Barker Street, correct?
Yes.
Yep. And you said it flows to the Merrimack River, right?
It flows through a culvert on Osgood Street first.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Because I think this culvert flows to Ray's Pond and down into Glen Kachikowik.
No, it
I think you get the flows.
No, it flows toward Lucent.
Right in that belly, it flows out underneath Barker Farm through what, a ravine or a mysterious cavern, because the grade doesn't fit it. this culvert, I think, flows in the opposite direction, back towards Ray's Pond, back into French Farm and down to Ray's Pond and back into Catticklick. I think the flow is wrong.
No,
Okay.
we've been out there. It flows northerly.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've been here, but I could have swore it flowed toward Lucent. You're saying it flows the opposite way.
So does it go behind like microwave engineering? How does it get underneath Osgood Street? Where does it go?
It's culverted at.
Yeah, it's right where you're saying.
To the north of Holt Road.
It goes behind. It goes behind. That with that. I forget. What did you say? Microwave. Then it flows underneath 125. Then it runs along by Lucent's parking lot there into
the old
back
dump?
where Ogden Martin is. There's a creek there that goes all the way to the river.
That must be like a micro divide on the watershed, because honest to God, it could just as easily go the other way. And I thought it did, and down that low area.
I think it does, Joe. I think it
Does
does
what?
flow. It does flow the way you said it does. I think so. I was out there today, and I was trying to orient myself for upstream and downstream, and obviously follow where the water flows.
It is difficult because the water is pretty much stagnant there. I don't know why, but it is.
So Louis, I'm going back 35 years ago when I was a young man, a young tyke, and I was looking to buy property from a guy named Tuttle. God forgive me. And there was that piece of property, and I know that brook flows in the other direction towards Ray's Pond.
Okay, I believe you. Yeah, I believe you.
So if the engineer doesn't know which direction it flows, or it's in question, I have little credibility in understanding his design. And I'm done for tonight. Okay.
Yeah. Does the applicant have any more questions, Joe?
I have no more questions. Give me 1 second. I lost my plan here, but I'm just looking at the survey. I mean, we've been out there. We've looked at digital elevation models from MassGIS.
Have you physically walked the thread of the brook and see which way the water's flowing?
Yeah.
Sometimes works better.
I'm sorry.
It flows the other way.
Well, it goes the other way.
I think I'm looking at our GIS and the contours, and the contours show that there's the upstream side is on the southern side of Barker.
Right.
So yeah, it does
There
flow
is
towards the Merrimack. It does.
There is a break on the backside of French Farm.
Okay.
That exactly where we just had that problem with the sewer replacement. That's where that water source comes from. It flows back through there down to Ray's Pond. So until we verify that, I have nothing else to ask.
How would you like us to? We verified it. How would you?
Survey.
We do have a survey.
We need a watershed map, right?
I have watershed maps. Let's see. If you look at the stormwater report, we show a watershed map. Reference, I believe it's attachment 1.
Attachment 1.
So I see where you are saying that there is a rise in topography to the north. So it's exiting under 125 through a culvert and then exits at the corner of 1600 Osgood. It looks like,
Right.
if you follow the topo.
And then it flows all the way down along Lucent to the
Yes.
brook where the recycling place is, a dump or whatever the hell you want to call it. Like it used to be like a mud. I don't know what it's called now. Wheel Liberator, I think.
Yeah.
And it goes. Then that flows into the Merrimack River. But we look. But I'm not trying to dispute Joe's recollection because he's pretty good. I mean,
No, I know.
Well, I don't want to dwell on, it may be a very micro divided watershed. I think that under high water conditions, it does go out the back. At least it goes out the back to raise pond. So my question is ultimately coming down to the necessity to not have it be meeting stream crossing standards. I think the Culvert ought to meet stream crossing standards, especially is it feeding two separate watersheds. All the more reason to have the critters migrate through it and have the hydrology move through it. And I think that there's an opportunity here to make that better. And so, just asking for a waiver is not the answer. So I don't think we have enough information to conclude all of that yet.
Yeah, well, it has to be substantiated on like you say, which way the water flows.
Yeah, we show if you look at attachment 2 of the stormwater report, we have a profile that goes up to Osgood from our culvert, and there's a culvert upstream of that as well that flows in.
So it goes up with 6. I'm trying to look at that. So it goes up 1,600 feet upstream and downstream. Where's the culvert?
Yeah, basically, if you're starting at what's called Culvert 1, to outfall, the end is outfall, the end of our model. This is the profile that we're showing from GIS mapping, elevation mapping.
So I'm looking at the first profile. Goes from station 0 to 1650 thereabouts. Are we talking about 0 being Barker itself and 1600 like Osgood Street?
Zero is the culvert just upstream. There's a big walled type dam just outside of this wetland upstream of our culvert, and that flows. That culvert, the water is high on that dam, and the culvert is very low. It acts like a control point, and it discharges into our wetland area just to the south of Barker Street, and from Barker Street it flows down towards Osgood.
Well, what does it show in the other direction? Because maybe that dam diverted the water in a different direction, right on the edge of the divide, because that water used to go to back to Ray's Pond.
I don't know if that's the case or it used to be the case. We based our delineation of our watershed based on Mass GIS digital elevation models, which are fairly accurate. We don't survey the entire watershed, obviously, but we use the information that's available to us. And in attachment 1, you can see the watershed area, and we point out where the culvert is in that watershed. And you can see an overall display of our model and flow, you can see the flow arrows.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking at. And for some particular strange reason, right where the culvert is, the watershed begins. And suddenly the flow only goes in that direction and not the other direction. So was the old culvert creating the divide that sent it towards the Merrimack and not to the river? And not to the lake? Because it looks like it very well could be.
I can't speak to why the old culvert was put in, other than we see from Mass GIS records that it is a stream.
Well, the only thing that could,
I'm not gonna. Yeah, Louis, I'm not gonna design this from the table here. There's enough at question here of looking at the other side of the same watershed, because I think this old culvert and this watershed very well could be diverting water in a direction different than what it should have been, originally or naturally, and moreover, is going to lay the groundwork for whether it's eligible for a limited project or whether it needs to meet stream crossing standards or not. Because I think probably it should. And right now, if they're hanging their hat on a waiver on the stream crossing standards, I would say we don't have enough information yet.
I agree. I think that I'm thinking when you say the water's flowing toward Grace Pond, they're saying the water's flowing toward the Merrimack River. Maybe the culvert is too high, and it's retaining water on the lake side, and water's backflowing.
If you look at some overhead ortho maps, you can see that to the south of Barker Street, there's a wall there. And if you flowed the opposite way, you would in actuality really just fill up that area from the wall between Barker Street and the wall. I don't think you could go back. The elevations shoot up from that point. We've walked out on that wall. It's pretty high. It's 10 feet high in the middle.
So
maybe
taking that question at baseline, that's exactly what DEP is asking with regards to the stream crossing standard question and the limited project question. You need to do more work to demonstrate whether this is a limited project eligible to not require meeting stream crossing standards. I don't think we're there yet. And that's what has to be done in order to satisfy, me and DEP.
Okay.
We're all set.
Lou?
Yes.
Okay, am I ready to inquire?
Well, he's looking at stuff. Yeah, you can. He's looking up something for Joe, but I think he is. It's hard when you can't see. Yeah, again, you can ask a question now.
Okay. Is it Ryan I'm speaking to?
Yes.
Ryan, how are you? So my concern is with I don't see any detail on a beaver deceiver or any type of device that would prevent the beavers from damming it up. I heard you talk about the putting a grating on hinges. That won't. If there is beaver activity there and if they're causing the damage, that's not going to stop them. Then they need to be diverted away from the upstream side once you determine which side is upstream. they need to be diverted away from it. And a beaver deceiver is the best device. So I'd like you to design a beaver deceiver on the upstream side when you revise the plans.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, that was after we've submitted. We've got some calls from residents, so I wanted to make sure I brought it up and to let you know that we wanted to add that in. I didn't want to, we didn't want to hide it from you or anything like that.
No, I mean you definitely don't want to have to do this twice. So the only way not to do it twice is just to keep them away from it.
Okay.
All right, thank you. I'm all set, Lou. That was my only question.
Okay. You all set? You're all set, right, Al?
Yeah, that was my question, Lou. Thank you. I'm all set.
Okay, thanks. I have a couple of questions. First of all, I heard you say you're consulting Albany for this project, and the project is going out for bid. I don't know if you're putting the bid contract together. I've already spoke to Amy, and I think she spoke to Joe Borghese. We're going to definitely want a performance bond on this project. We had an issue with another town project before, so and we got that straightened out. So I don't want to go through that again. So you are going to are you putting the contract together?
Yes.
All right. So we're going to want we're going to want for the bid process that a bond will be posted for this job.
Is this a special bond with conservation, or is this an overall with the town? We typically do it with the town.
I would say the town should be fine, right, Joe?
Ryan, so there should be two things. There should be a performance and surety bond in accordance with general procurement requirements.
Right.
And secondarily, there should be a surety bond with complying with the order of conditions. And it should be stated that that bond requirement references back to whatever order conditions we ultimately reference. So if we say $30,000 bond, in addition to any other bond, this one has to be included.
Okay. Yeah, we typically do the performance and payment bond, but I wanted to make sure there was, we got anything special in there that you request.
Yeah, there'll be a separate bond over and above those other two.
Okay. Okay.
My next question is I don't have a plan with me. Do you have a cross section of the roadway as far as what you're going to put down to replace what you're taking out?
We don't show a cross section of the roadway. We are replacing in kind. We'll do a base and slight crown, but I can provide a. Let me see if I don't think we provided the cross section. We can provide a cross section.
Yeah, that would be helpful.
Let me just make sure. I don't think we provided on this set for you. That's not a problem. We can provide a typical cross section. We're not planning on, we're planning on keeping the roadway as is, elevation wise. No problem. Yeah.
But you're going to dig probably 20 feet of roadway up to get to that, to put the new culvert in.
Yes. Yes.
So I mean, we got to see the gravel base, the binder coat, top coat. We should.
Yep.
It should be the town has a spec anyway. So I'm sure you can go off that one.
Yes.
And the third thing is I'm sure the road's going to be closed. How long do you anticipate this job to take? Because that's a heavily traveled road.
Yeah, the DPW is planning on closing the road, putting up signage well in advance of any road closure. Variable message boards up prior to, way in advance, 2-3 weeks in advance. I forget exactly what John was saying he was planning to do, but they were going to have signs up that saying the road was going to be closed. We expect this type of project, I would say, From road closure, we're probably looking at probably 3 weeks of solid work.
Okay. Well, that'd be, okay, very good. That's the only questions that I have right at the moment. You piqued my curiosity about which way that water flows. I'm like, it's got me confused because I tend to agree towards you that it goes to Lucent, but I know Mr. Lynch very well, and if he says it flows the other way, it's going to be a tough sell. So I have no more questions. Deb?
No questions.
Sean?
No questions.
Okay. Well, we got some. So this has to be continued, right, Amy? Because we have some questions with the flow.
Yeah, we have. We received an email from an abutter.
Okay.
I believe his name is Jim Dubney, I believe. And he writes, "Thank you for the notification about the planned culvert on Barker Street. I have property abutting the affected area and have a question that perhaps could be addressed by yourself and/or at the hearing. At the time, the pipe in place to keep, at the moment, the pipe in place to keep the water moving under the road is frequently clogged with debris. The DPW, helpfully enough, needs to routinely send a team to clear it. Question: what solutions will be put in place to keep debris from covering the openings of the culvert?" Which I think we talked about, but I wanted to make sure we read that into the record.
Yeah, I think Al addressed that perfectly.
Right.
The other thing I wanted to ask the engineer, do you have plenty of room in the right of way for the abutters that you're not infringing on anybody's private property, correct?
Correct. We're not.
Okay. Very good. So we need the motion to continue.
So can I just
moved.
interject one thing? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
So
Baby.
I think in terms of the proposed location for the wetland replication, I don't think it's the best. I think we should think about tucking them inside between wetland flag B and wetland flag B2, where there's sort of a indentation away from the road, and then we could fit some in along A2 and A1, just to give the new wetland a breather from the shoulder of the roadway and I think get better hydrology too, because I think where it's proposed, it's a little bit of a raised shoulder that you'd really have to dig down to get some good hydrology.
Well, normally, Andy, the commission relies on the administrator to what they want for planting plan.
Yeah,
So,
and I was just going to talk about that too. I think we should be realistic about what kind of care any shrubs would really ultimately get in this area, and perhaps just a wetland seed mix in the beginning and just letting the wetland take over as it wants to. I just want to be realistic about the DPW's ability or capacity to nurture along a wetland replication area.
Mm-hmm.
It's just my thoughts, but
I have no comment.
Well, I do.
Go ahead, Joe.
So Amy's points are all very well taken. Until we ultimately decide and determine what the ultimate project looks like, I think we should simply talk about that any restoration be coordinated with the administrator in the future. Right now, it's very premature to talk about, exactly what that might be.
Right. Sure. Right. Well, that's what I was trying to convey to Amy, but she was being a little bit cautious. I know what you want, what we normally do. We usually kind of leave it up to the administrator, what's going to work and what isn't going to work.
Yeah.
Okay, so how much time are you going to need to take up your new plan? The next meeting?
The next meeting, yes, that should be
Okay.
fine to address all DEP's questions and any flow concerns.
Okay. And I'll look over the questions that were brought out tonight. All right, so we need a motion to continue till next meeting.
And that's,
So moved.
and that's May 27th.
Okay. So all those, there's a move, and now we need a second.
I moved it.
Oh,
Okay, I didn't hear you.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? And that's unanimous. Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, Amy, you can shoot for the next one.
All righty. We have 1 High Street, 2421646. And the commission will recall issuing an order of condition. Someone's got a TV going on in the background.
No, I can hear it.
Issuing an order of conditions that was valid for 5 years for invasive vegetation management, aquatic vegetation management in the East Mill Pond. And
I just wanted to check it, Amy. I thought you said they wanted a 1-year extension.
no, I'm sorry, because it expired, the order expired in March. And
Okay,
that was after the full 5 years that you granted in the very beginning.
okay. So we're going to go to straight to a new order then.
Right, but what they're,
Amy,
what? Yeah,
under the declaration of emergency, extension of orders that were about to expire, weren't they automatically extended for some grace period?
thank you, Joe. You're right. They're extended only to the end of the declaration, however.
So
who knows?
that order is still valid. We can extend it
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I apologize for that.
Okay, because I thought that's what you would ask me the other day.
Yeah,
We're gonna extend the order, and the new order we were gonna be a little bit more critical because of the pipes and the E. coli things.
yeah, I apologize.
If we're able to, let's extend it.
Well, it's automatically extended. So you guys
Okay.
wouldn't have to take action, but it's only extended until the state of emergency is lifted. So and it doesn't go beyond that. It doesn't have a grace period beyond that lifting of the emergency order. So, who knows how long that's going to be? I don't know. And Tanya Hartford with RCG is with us this evening. And I believe, Tanya, you brought your consultant with you?
Yes, Amy, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you. Yep.
Okay. So we did bring, I do have James Lacrosse from Solitude Lake Management with me.
Okay. Thank you.
He should be on the line.
I think she's the one with the
How you doing, guys?
I don't have the TV on.
That might be me. It's coming from upstairs.
My kids have come and gone, but I've been on mute. So we had a 5-year order of conditions for this project. There was no, I think what Amy's trying to say is there was no ability to extend, because when you issued the order, you issued all the extensions at once. So you allowed us to keep going for 5 years. I think I wasn't around 5 years ago, but I think the intent was that we would come back and do a new one or decide sort of what would be the next step. So we were intending to come back before we did an NOI to sort of just discuss this with you, I guess. But now with the emergency order and with us not really meeting, we really hadn't had that opportunity. And what I'm concerned about is that we would like to get the first treatment in, which is usually done in May or June, and I don't want to miss that opportunity. So what I had suggested to Amy is that maybe we ask the commission for us to be able to do the first treatment under an enforcement order, because I don't know that you can extend this order, but admittedly I don't know enough about the order of conditions and DEP guidelines on that. But if you could issue us an enforcement order to be able to get in there and to do that first treatment, and then you can provide us with any feedback about sort of that next round of treatment, this new NOI that we would put together with Solitude, then we would have that new NOI. Hopefully we can discuss that with you over the summer, and then that new order of conditions would be in place for the next treatment, which usually happens in late summer, early fall. I think overall the treatment's been successful. Again, I wasn't here when the initial order was issued, but in my files, everything is called Smelly Pond, and the pond no longer smells, and it actually looks really good. So I think the treatment's working, and we'd like to keep going along with it. So so James is here. He can answer any questions about what we've done in the past, and then procedurally, I guess we can discuss with Amy and with the board on what the best path forward is for us.
All right. Well, I read the defer to more people living there longer than me. Can we issue an enforcement order for this till they get their NOI together?
Are you looking for opinions?
Yes.
So I'll just give you my opinion. I would have no problem as long as an NOI is being formed and put together, and as long as it's not a protracted enforcement order, then I would be in favor of it. Under those strict conditions that it's happening now, it's not just being thought about or talked about.
Okay. How does the rest of the commission feel about that?
This is Jack. I have a question too. I'm looking at the management recommendations, and it seems like the recommendations include basically continuing the current management plan. Is that correct?
This is James Lacasse from Solitude Lake Management. That is indeed correct.
Okay, so the amounts of treatment, the frequency of treatment would be roughly the same as what has been done in the past?
That's correct. We actually have been able to decrease the treatments from the beginning of this program until current time. We used to do 3 to 4 treatments a year to everything from the curly leaf, chestnut, and all the emergents. And now we're actually down to only 2 to 3 treatments a year just because the densities have decreased.
Great. Sounds like it's working.
Yep.
My other question has to do with the Phragmites. Are you guys treating the water and the bank, or is it just the water?
When we treat the Phragmites, we use a backpack sprayer. It's obviously sensitive to just the plant, and we only hit the plant. What we use actually becomes deactivated when it hits the water surface. So we actually really just hit the leaves of the Phragmites.
Got it. That's important because those things are tough.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's all I have, Lou.
Joe, do you have any questions on just extending the order under an enforcement order?
And no questions at all. It's are they giving us the annual reports as required?
Yes.
Yes, we are.
Okay, no questions at all. All set.
Okay. And Al's all set. Deb, are you all set?
I'm all set.
Sean?
All set?
Are you all set to issue an enforcement order until they get the NOI together?
I am.
Okay. This is Lou Knapp with the chairman. I spoke with Amy today at length. There is there's some vegetation below the surface of the water. She wasn't familiar with the plant. Do you know what that plant is, and does your treatment affect them?
Yeah, so that's probably the curly leaf pondweed. It's the first invasive to be visibly seen. It comes up in cold water. And we do typically treat it. It's been part of the aquatic management program. And that's what we would be kind of asking for you guys' approval to treat that within the next coming weeks.
Okay. That was one question. So I would like, if when you're putting together your NOI, make sure you include that plant in your in your design, or whatever, however you want to call it. And also, Amy was out there and she spotted 3 pipes discharging into the pond. And it would be interesting to know where they're coming from.
Amy, where can you tell me where those pipes are?
Yeah, it might. I'd be happy to meet you out there, Tanya, and look at them.
Okay.
There's a couple black corrugated pipes. There's a clay pipe, and then there's a metal pipe, and they're all they're scattered throughout the bank, on both sides, really. So I was just curious, what are they? A couple of them were wet. They weren't flowing, but they were trickling. I didn't get too close to the stuff, or
she tasted it, but she couldn't find anything definitive.
Yeah.
Well, I will say that we have. I have not tasted any of the water either, but given in the last couple of years, both with the culvert replacement that we did, the new wear structure, and with the housing project that we have permitted for back there, we have a pretty extensive knowledge of the pipes that are over there.
Okay.
And one pipe in particular that actually flows in there, we're planning on tying into with the Eastville Flats project as part of the approved order of conditions for that. So so I'm happy to kind of talk through it with you, because I know that you weren't around when those were both permitted.
Yeah, right.
But we have a pretty good understanding of where those pipes are. So so I'll let you know. I'm not on site that often. I'm probably going to be there tomorrow, and then obviously in the next couple of weeks I'll probably be there more often.
Okay.
So I'm happy to go talk to you about that.
Well, I just want to put it together. I just want to make these things aware to you when you're putting your NOI together, because somebody's going to be asking a question.
Okay. No, Lou, I appreciate that.
And just make sure that we have all the plants that you're trying to eliminate in the pond. What you're going to do with what plants and how you're going to do it, and this way we can make it clean and move on accordingly.
I guess with that, Lou, I would, does the commission have anything that they want to see, or anything in particular that's of concern that we should be including in this new NOI, and as we look forward for the next round of treatment?
All right. Well, I'll run that by the commission again. Jack?
Yeah, I think I can't think of anything.
Okay. Joe?
No other questions.
Okay. Al?
No, I've been reading with great interest the analysis on the pond, and I'm satisfied. I'm satisfied to this point with the analysis that's taking place and the schedule it's on. So I'm good for right now on that.
Okay.
Thank you.
While I'm thinking of it, Amy also expressed concern about the high levels of E. coli in the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw the coliform. Yeah.
Yeah, so we'd like to get that addressed with that in your NOI description of what you're going to do about it.
Okay.
I mean, I know, Tanya, that you mentioned that it's it could be other watershed sources, but maybe just look at what your immediate watershed to the pond, sources that you could be hosting, so to speak. And I know I walked around and there was a lot of, Canada goose droppings and stuff. So just something to think about, what can your site do to maybe address E. coli?
Mhm.
Because that's
Yeah.
going to be one of my questions when you apply for your NOI.
Mhm.
Yeah, I just
that'll-
wanted to, I actually just want to touch base on that real quick as well. We did notice that the levels were definitely higher this past year than previous years. And I just want to kind of clarify, it is kind of tough without a full water quality program in place with, biweekly or monthly sampling. It is kind of tough to paint a good picture of what's actually happening within the water body. Essentially what we're doing, I mean, we are collecting data, but we're essentially taking a quick snapshot of a whole entire season worth of nutrients, rain events, etc. So, yes, that is definitely in the past report. It was high, but saying that there could have been a rain event previous to that, there could have been a plethora of, once we start seeing that trend that it is increasing year after year, I think we have to dig deeper and really see what's going on. But right now the levels aren't too concerning. They're definitely a little higher, but they're not too concerning at all, especially with regards to what we typically see in the northeast ponds.
Okay,
like a-
thank you for that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
of
I
course.
said, it doesn't hurt to be proactive. We want to get into this one. It's a dangerous level.
Exactly.
We've already had projects. We kind of like let people run away with it, and then we end up with a disaster. So,
Mhm.
so
I will say that, and this is something I did mention to Amy, and I think that Dave Steinberg and I have been talking about this a lot over the years, is that we're treating invasives both at the East Mill and the West Mill, and it's really difficult. It's almost like a never-ending battle when you're working in a watershed of water that's constantly moving. And so it would be interesting for us to maybe think about what's going on in that whole water system, and because we could be treating our invasives in our pond, but it's not going to really make much of a difference if it's flowing, if we're getting flow from another area. And so, and so I like to think that we do a really good job in what we're doing. We try to follow our treatment, and I think that for the East and West Mill ponds, I think we've been doing a good job. And I just would like to sort of think about it more broadly, so that we can eventually maybe stop some of these treatments.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it'll be interesting to hear your comments when you come back for the NOI.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Deb, any questions?
No questions.
Sean?
No questions.
All right, so we need an enforcement order.
Right. So, issue an enforcement order to allow for the first round of treatment. Is that sufficient?
Well, also somewhere on the enforcement order, it's got to start the clock ticking on the filing of the NOI.
Okay.
It can't just be open-ended. So, figure out what that schedule needs to be, and it's got to go on there.
Okay.
I'll coordinate with that office. I'll coordinate with my office on that.
I would say, Amy, if you're looking for dates, we're planning on treating, James, would you say last year we treated mid-June? So because you had to actually go through DEP. So I would say that you could have the enforcement order that we give us to maybe to the end of June, just in case DEP is held up, I guess, on giving us the permit to apply the chemical herbicide, and then just say we need to submit our NOI by, by July, by the end of July.
Okay.
Yeah, we would like the second treatment probably by the middle to end of July, if not early August. So I'd say that's a good time frame to have for it.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it going to take that long to get your NOI together?
Actually, we probably should be able to. Could get it together sooner than that. So you could even say July 1st.
I think you should.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. All right, so we have the enforcement order good till when? The end of June?
Well, the enforcement order is good. We're asking them to submit their NOI on or before July 1st, so we could make the EO expire on that date at the same time.
Sounds like a plan. We need a motion and a second.
So I'll move it.
I move it. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Tanya. Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys.
Right.
Alrighty.
That went rather well, Amy.
Yeah. Well, aside from me forgetting that the automatic extensions, but who knows how long this thing is going to last, so.
Well, they're gonna get the NOI filed on or before
Yeah.
July 1st, so then
That's
we'll have a
right.
real good idea how long it's gonna last.
Yes, okay.
All right, what's next?
Okay. So we
Let's move it.
have, I'm sorry, okay. We have enforcement orders that carried over. So 410 Summer Street was the pool rehab project. I did get a call from the consultant, and I believe they're just about ready to submit. So I would continue to the May 27th meeting for that.
So moved.
Yeah.
Okay.
Need a second?
Second.
Okay.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, and that's unanimous.
All righty. The next one is 1806 Salem Street. It was an enforcement order for the expansion of a driveway that actually never got permitted with us. I went out there to take some measurements, and the existing driveway is roughly 12 by 46, and at its closest point, it's 28 feet from the stream. So, of course, they have no room to go towards the stream, or they'd be in the no disturb zone. But if they were to go with an expansion away from the stream, they'd be cutting into an elevated belly of a lawn in front of the house, and I think that would just entail a lot of earthwork. So I'm thinking, and you guys can decide whatever you want to do, but I'm thinking that an RDA to allow for the restoration of the existing driveway dimensions, and if they wanted to go any larger, I think it would trigger an NOI.
But a correction on that. We talked about the same. If they have to rip up that driveway
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. You're right.
and regrade, then they
Right.
have to then they have to file an NOI. But
Okay.
we have to. What I want the commission to remember is this driveway was an illegally installed driveway, because they have another one. So, you guys can use your discretion on there, because it's only 28 feet from a stream. So I don't know how you want to move with this.
Well, where's the evidence that there's a second driveway?
It's on the far left of the house. So they already have one. It's just on the far side of the house from the stream.
So they don't need this driveway.
No.
I mean, if they
So
have
why
one, if
can't
you're
they
telling me
abandon it?
It's more
can't
convenience
they-
than anything else. That's the catch. That's the catch. It was installed illegally. They want to fix it now.
Yeah, but what's bothering me is that they already have another driveway. That's where I'm having a problem.
Exactly.
Okay.
And didn't they already cut down a bunch of trees?
No, I don't know. They just dug up like the ground to prepare for the new pavement.
Okay. I'm leaning toward an NOI.
Yeah, me too.
So
Absolutely.
let's take this back in the beginning. So it's not illegal so much as it's like unpermitted. He's got a principal driveway to the left. He's got a secondary driveway that's been there for some established time.
Since somewhere between 2012 and 2014.
So it's
So not that long ago.
Not that long ago. That's right.
That's the problem. Okay. I was thinking much longer than that. So it's a new driveway. Ooh.
See, the more you look at it, the worse it gets.
I'd make him file. I'd make him file at least in an RDA, if not in full blown NOI.
Okay. Well, I think they should go for an NOI, Joe, because even if we go to condition it, I know there's going to be more than 3 conditions with it being next to the brook, especially if they want to rip it up.
Yeah, if it was older, established, we could say probably RDA, but if it's a new one that just suddenly appeared, it's a filing, a
Okay,
full filing.
okay, NOI.
Yeah,
All
I
right,
would go
NOI, NOI definitely, NOI.
okay. All right,
All right, and that's an enforcement order, so we should have a date sensitive when they get back to us.
yeah, so I guess move to issue an enforcement order that requires a notice of intent to be filed by,
Give them 30 days to file,
okay,
because
Okay.
they've got to engage an engineer for the NOI.
yep. Okay, so is there a motion?
That was a motion.
Okay, Al, okay. Deb,
And
second.
Deb seconded. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, and that's unanimous.
And you authorize me to sign on your behalf?
Yes.
So moved.
Okay,
Oh, yes.
okay,
Second. Yeah.
thanks. All right. Okay, so the last thing we have is the draft decision for 800 Massachusetts Avenue.
The Textile Museum.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
So you all have that, right?
Yep.
Okay. So I was sure to add provisions for additional erosion control at the east side of the building, catch basin protection of the inlet of the 6-inch drain from the building. And I did 50 feet of extra emergency erosion control.
Well, I think what we talked about, Amy, today, but and then Joe brought it up. It was those 2 pipes, one that we thought that went to the wetland, and one that we went out straight, and we don't know where it went.
Right.
I think that they should let us know at the pre-construction meeting.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
So they.
go ahead. No, so I mean that's something that we should know ahead of time, because they're not going to tell us now. So I think we should know before they start.
So that currently, Lou, that looks like that's condition number 50. Do I have that right?
Yes.
Okay.
So do you want condition 50 to be a pre-construction?
Correct.
So do we have to amend condition 50 to make it pre-construction, Amy?
Yeah.
It is pre-construction.
It is, yeah, exactly. It is.
Oh, is it in that? Okay.
Yeah, prior
Yes,
to.
it is. You're right. Yes. Okay. But I'll just make sure I add prior to construction.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's really clear.
Yeah, make it clear.
Okay.
And Amy, you included the how you were going to construct, construction phases. You're going to make them put the patio in, then put the wall, and then so they know before they even think of, then they got to do the other side with the, that really doesn't pertain to us, but except the slurry.
Did they propose that sequence of construction?
No, we're going to do that. Amy's going to take care of that at a pre-construction meeting.
We'll condition it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they have to build the patio first and then the wall, but.
So that'll be documented in the minutes of the pre-construction meeting.
Yes.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah. That was not discussed during the hearing. It makes sense. And And,
Yeah.
it should be conditioned.
Right. So we want it to be constructed during dry conditions. And Lou also mentioned that he'd like for Conservation Department staff to be on site while the patio is being constructed, at least periodically.
Or just have them hire a monitor for that activity.
That's in there too.
Okay. Okay.
The other part too, Amy, is when they start doing the drilling, we want somebody there too, just to take a look to make sure that the slurry goes where it's supposed to go.
Okay. All right.
Or the water.
Right. Okay.
Is everybody comfortable with the bond?
We did 3,000.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
fine.
yes, yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Oh, I nailed it this time. Woo.
Yep. Yep.
Hmm. Let's see. No storage of fuel on site, but they can do delivery of fuel.
Right.
Yeah.
Equipment.
It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, that should be boilerplate on all our
Yep.
on all our decisions.
Okay. And then mitigation plantings, overall survivorship of at least 75% after 2 growing seasons.
2 or 3, either 2 seasons or 3 seasons.
I did 2 after
Okay.
installation.
Okay.
And you're gonna approve the planting plan, correct?
Although we have one on the plan that everyone seemed to be fine with.
Okay.
Yep. And then just
So-
the mitigation plantings be allowed to naturalize.
So
Okay.
mitigation plantings are not restoration, it's just mitigation, right?
Mitigation for
Re-
incursion into the 50-foot with the patio.
So not within in the resource areas
No,
specifically.
they're in the 25.
Buffer zone.
Buffer zone.
Yes.
Buffer zone. So crew mitigation, we usually do 3 years, and restoration outside, we usually do 2 years,
Oh, okay.
which is how you have it drafted.
Okay. Great.
You guys, anybody else?
And then grassy area located between mitigation planting strip and the fieldstone wall mowed only twice a year.
Right.
Yep.
Enforcement, you want reporting? How do you want to? You want to ignore it or just get some sort of reporting?
Ignore what? Ignore what?
The mowing only twice a year.
Well, we have the right to go on and inspect it, right?
Yes.
So yeah, no, I get what Joe's saying. Yeah, they should report when the mowings take place. They should report.
Okay.
And
date
have
and time.
enforcement.
The date and time, and then we can check them out. That's a good idea.
Okay. All right. All righty.
That's a good
Okay.
idea.
Any other questions?
Is condition 84 the coal tar based pavement sealants? I mean, I understand that's in our favor, but is it really necessary? I mean, isn't it kind of a flat site, and aren't we kind of, isn't it a low risk of any runoff from the pavement to go into the wetlands?
Jack,
I don't know. Just a question.
I thought you might be going in a broader sense. The reality is, most of the sealants are non-coal based tar. There are still many that are coal-based, tar-based. It's unenforceable, just like our fertilizers. So I'd say leave it in there And
Yeah.
if there's a problem, we can hang our hat on it.
Yep.
Didn't know that, Joe. Thanks.
Good idea. Leave it in there.
Yeah, I don't like to take anything out. You know, if it doesn't apply, it doesn't apply. But if it's there, we got to adhere to it.
Sounds like a good order of conditions.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we need a motion.
Al, was that a motion?
That was. I moved it.
Second.
All those in
Okay.
favor say aye.
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 Opposed? And that's
Can we
it.
authorize Amy to sign it on our behalf?
Yes, thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Joe. I'm glad somebody's paying
Second.
attention. Don't go buying the car now.
Okay, I won't. I'll just buy, stripped down model.
Yeah, vacation place, only if you invite us.
Okay.
Okay, we need a motion to adjourn. So moved.
So moved.
All right,
Second.
all those in favor say aye.
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 Great. Thank you, North Andover, Cam.
Yeah, thank you. Thank
you,
you,
folks.
Philip. Thank you, fellow
Good night, guys.
commissioners.
Thanks,
Good night.
everybody.
Good night, guys. Yes, yeah.
Have a-
See you guys.
Have a good night.
See you.
Be safe.
Drive carefully.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.